public, which means people are holding on to money without spending it. Hence, the Apex Bank on the 26th of October 2022 announced that it would redesign the 200, 500 and 1000 naira notes. Today we'll take a deep dive into this announcement and its possible effect on the nation's economy. I am Olabisi Yusuf. Our complimentary segments on the program today will be the newspaper segment, fitness segment, health. We'll be talking about epilepsy. The children, we have a beautiful cartoon for you. The background report, discussion with our financial experts, entertainment, and of course sports for our sports lovers. We'll take a short break right now, and when we return, Morning Safari continues.
Morning Safari, your breakfast Saturday morning magazine show, is available for your patronage. From all shades of opinion to exciting and exclusive interview of personalities, corporate bodies and organizations, for your business and social engagement, event coverage, product launch and rebranding, annual general meetings, we are at your beck and call. You can as well advertise and promote your business, commercial activities, hotel and tourism, entrepreneurship development, and many more are all at our services. Contact us today. The numbers to call are Bola 080-565-30106, Tony 080-349-71969, or visit us at our office, NTA Ilorin, along Fatih Road, Ilorin. You can log on to our social streaming platform live on www.facebook.com/NTA Ilorin. Morning Safari, we serve you better.
You're welcome back. It's now time for our newspaper segment, starting with the Saturday Punch. Stench from Lagos abattoir pollutes air, water, threatens residents' health. Flood, Bayelsa governor, ex-governor lambast minister. That story is on page 7. New Naira, rich Nigerians deposit bills of cash in banks. Riders, customers depositing billions, millions, says bankers. Banks launch Saturday service for cash deposits, ordered to share daily vault balances with CBN. That story is on page 4. Why I consider my blindness a blessing. This is coming from a retired PAMSEC, and the story is on page 23. Ifeanyi, stop advising Davido, Chioma psychologists urge fans. Details of that story is on page 14. How prison escapee raped, killed my daughter, coming from an artisan. The story is on page 18. Police hunts Yoruba Nation agitators for attacking soldiers. That story is on page 5. I'm not scared of competition. This is coming from Adala Pinky, and the story is on page 15. Extortion, travelers commend immigration for sacking 8 officers. Details of that story is on page 10. Right behind Saturday Punch, we have Salisu names Bankole Faleye for Costa Rica friendly. Saturday Punch Family Corner, why counseling helps when you're trying to conceive. Details on page 25. Dare Loud State of Facilities for Delta States 2022. Iwobi battles Ndidi, here Nacho in EPL. We owe Pesero, NFF admits. Federation says coaches' wages to be paid soon. For interest in any of those stories, pick a copy of Saturday Punch. And now to The Sun. Late Archbishop Olumakaye wife's love story. How I met, married my spouse, husband. He was a good package, specially made for me, Professor Mrs. Olumakaye. Details of that story are on pages 10 and 11. INEC insists on deploying Navy, Army, Air Force for 2023 polls. Details on page 30. Court okays EFCC request to seize 40 properties linked to Ike Ekweremadu. That story is on page 29. Wike increases special assistance to 200,000. Appointment part of SOMAC infrastructure. Details on page 27. 2023, Wike aggrieved PDP governors weigh Obi Tinubu options as APC presidential candidate intensifies lobby. Atiku, I'm committed to resolution of PDP crisis. That story is on page 31. Kidnapping, fear grips travelers on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Afenifere YCE Adeniran others urged FG to intervene. Details on page 30. Flooding renders 1.5 million people homeless in Bayelsa, Rivers, Delta, Anambra. Details on pages 28 and 30. Farmlands, poultry farms destroyed. Over 300 communities sacked. You abandoned your responsibility. Bayelsa government blast FG. FG approves 260 billion naira to complete East-West Road. Sanwo-Olu congratulates Femi Otedola at 60. Details on page 27. Behind Saturday's Sun, how Lagos prophet raped fiancé's teenage daughters. Death of a bishop who once resurrected by Mike Awoyinfa. For interest in any of these stories, pick a copy of Saturday's Sun. And now moving to The Guardian. Army recruitments. Concerns as Southeast fails to fill quota. Details on page 2. Arogbofa Okunromo others feign ignorance of Reconciliation Committee. That story is on page 2. ASU kicks summons NEC meeting as FG pays half salaries. Details on page 3. We won't postpone 2023 elections on account of logistics, INEC assures Nigerians. Wike Umahi and politics of injury time appointments. Details on page 26. Sanwo-Olu salutes Femi Otedola at 60. That story is on page 10. Despite biases, there are women succeeding and breaking boundaries. This is coming from Fejiro Chinye Nwoko and the story is on page 15. To Guardian Sports, it will be frustrating to watch World Cup without Eagles, says Mabo. Africa orders battle at Paris Games Week 2022. Minister hails facilities for Delta 2022 National Sports Festival. Event holds as scheduled. For interest in any of those stories, pick a copy of The Guardian. And now to Saturday Tribune. Above the nameplate, we have Wike increases special assistance to 200,000. That story is on page 5. How Oyo jailbreak suspects made millions from kidnapping. Details on page 7. Sanwo-Olu congratulates Otedola on his 60th birthday. Details on page 5. Now to the biggest caption on Saturday Tribune. Bandits unleash terror across North. Suspected headers kill 18 in Benue communities. Gunmen murder 2, abduct 1 in Bauchi. Bandits kill village head, 3 others in Kebbi. The story is on page 4. Insurgents are threat to 2023 elections, El-Rufai warns. 152 terrorists killed, 100 bandit camps destroyed in 6 months in Kaduna. Details on page 4. UNICEF condemns abduction of 21 kids in Katsina. That story is on page 4. Withheld salaries. Unijust ASU directs members to stay at home. Details on page 5. Governor Abiodun flags off $400 million agro-processing zone. That story is on page 5. Behind the Saturday Tribune, we have notes from Atlanta with Farouk Perogi. What Fayemi can learn from Shetima. Sports. Qatar 2022, FIFA warns countries to shun politics. For interest in any of those stories, pick a copy of Saturday Tribune. Many thanks to Olóyin, your newspaper stand, for the newspapers. Moving ahead, we have the fitness segment. Don't go away.
Eight, 9, and 10. So let's go the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you can stand up now. Yeah, this is our second routine. This machine is called roller slide. So it's one of the most effective abs workout. So we'll be showing us how to use it. So we are going to be doing this one 6 reps, 3 sets. 6 sets, 6 reps, 3 sets. So depending on how long you can go, with 6 reps, 3 sets, you can achieve the result that you want. So here we have, we'll be showing us. So go at your pace. Don't rush. Don't rush. So we have 2 more to go. Last one. Yeah. So he is doing 3 sets for us. Second set, let's go 6 reps. 1. Yeah, nice. 2. 3. 4. 5. Nice. 6. So another recovery time, that's 5 seconds. So we'll go on the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go on the last one. 6 reps. 6, 5, 3, 4, 2, and the last one, 1. So this is our next routine. This is a deep machine, and it also can be used for abs workout. What we are going to be doing on this one is majorly on our lower tummy. You know, if you see most people that doesn't have big tummy too, they have a lower tummy. So this is the best machine to burn your lower abs. So he'll be showing us how to use it. We'll be doing 5 reps of 3 sets on this one. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Always remember, on the days that your body is weak, those are the days that you need workout. So you know, sometimes you wake up, you don't want to do anything. Those are the days that you need to work out. So we are going on the second set. 5 seconds, then we'll move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, we have last one to go. So we are resting for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the last one, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, this is where we'll be saying bye-bye on fitness segment on Morning Safari. I hope you have been able to learn 1 or 2 things from our fitness instructor. Do join us next week. Morning Safari continues.
Alright, you're you're welcome back. I'm sure you enjoyed that fitness segment. For me, I feel it's essentially, the routine is essentially for the men. But if you're a woman, a lady, you feel you need to build up your 6-packs, your dozen packs, go ahead and have those routines. Moving ahead, we have the health segment talking about epilepsy. Don't go away. Epilepsy is a disorder in which nerve cell activity in the brain is disturbed, causing seizures. Epilepsy may occur as a result of a genetic disorder or an acquired brain injury, such as trauma or stroke. During a seizure, a person experiences abnormal behavior, symptoms and sensations, sometimes including loss of consciousness. There are few symptoms between seizures. In this report, Dr. Lawal Moshood takes us through the basic causes, symptoms, prevention and cure for epilepsy.
Epilepsy is a form of seizure, and it can be defined as abnormal dysfunction of the brain as a result of abnormal electrical activities that affect the brain, especially the cerebral cortex. The incidence is usually very high during the early stage of life, especially during the first year of life and old ages. We have some precipitants and some risk factors that usually accounted for this disease condition. Some of these risk factors include poor obstetric care, trauma to the head, especially if the delivery is not properly conducted. Like I said, the baby in utero will develop birth asphyxia, which later in life will lead to epilepsies. Some other causes include stroke, which is a form of cerebrovascular accident, congenital malformation, and some illicit drug users among the adolescents as a result of peer pressure. These are the common causes of epilepsies, which is a form of seizure disorder. And besides this epilepsy can be classified based on specific clinical feature, family history, and particular type of this seizure disorder. We have different types of seizure disorder. They presented with foaming. They will be foaming in their mouth. They will be upward eye rolling. There will be jerky movement, which is tonic-cloning. They will be jerking the body. There will be intense rigidity of the body, and afterwards they may fail and go into sleep, which is a form of loss of consciousness or post-ictal sleep. Epilepsy is an unprovoked and recurrent. Before you can label someone to be epileptic, such a person must have been undergoing a recurrent episode of seizure disorder. But to come down on the treatment, if you want to live a life free of seizure disorder, the patient must be on medication, which is a form of anti-seizure or anti-epileptic drugs, like Tegretol, carbamazepine, or phenobarbital. There are most of them, but the one we commonly use in this environment, we use phenobarbital and we use Tegretol, which is carbamazepine. So far the patient is on this drug, such a patient will live a seizure-free life. There are some prevention and caution that someone must take, because we have found that some of these causes of epilepsies are from in utero, is during pregnancy and delivery period. I think if we can adhere to all these precautionary measures and avoiding illicit drug takings like India hemp, cocaine, marijuana, which is common among adolescents as a result of peer pressure, which can lead to seizure, at least we are good to go in preventing these epilepsies or seizure disorders.
Can a person with epilepsy live a normal life? The answer is yes. Many people with epilepsy can conduct a normal life. However, patients who have had epilepsy for a long time or whose epilepsy is difficult to control may need assistance in their daily life activities. Alright, so welcome back. That was a good report on epilepsy. This goes out to the mothers, the pregnant women. Be as careful as you can. Once you realize you're pregnant, once you find out you're pregnant, register for antenatal in a very good hospital, and then you'll be glad you did, in order to avoid most of these complications. Moving ahead, we have the children's segments. Beautiful cartoon from Paws of Fury. Enjoy it.
Cats were living, where the heroes ran in short supply, to a land so harsh and unforgiving, rode a hero, the blazing samurai. When one town was found to be in danger from the evildoer dropping by,
I cannot teach a dog to be a cat. What I must do is teach a dog to be a better dog.
What's that?
The blindfold is to help you focus.
Now
listen. Tell me what you hear.
I hear you talking and moving. I hear a bird.
That's it.
I smell flowers, actually.
Dogs have a keen sense of smell and excellent hearing.
I hear a dragonfly. I smell wood burning. I smell tea brewing. Hey, are you making nachos? Because someone just cut the cheese.
Lesson over. Well done. In battle as in life, the samurai strives to maintain his balance and always defeats strength with smart.
I can dig it. You must control your fear, or fear will control you. It's a dance in which a samurai controls his space and his body.
What are you learning?
I don't like sticks as much as I used to.
What are you learning in here?
It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight.
No, it is the size of the dog in the fight. A big dog has fewer problems. Let me demonstrate. Hold this.
See? That wouldn't happen to a big dog.
We're still behind schedule. The Shogun will be here in 3 days! I'm surrounded by imbeciles, complete morons.
It must be so hard for you. The patience and kindness that you show.
Ogre, don't take this the wrong way, okay? But you are a total failure and a major disappointment. No offense.
None taken. Constructive criticism is always welcome.
I didn't expect much of you, and you still disappointed me. Listen, the cats of Kakamucho are no closer to leaving than when we started. If you can't get the job done, perhaps it's time for a real professional. Send in the beast. Now get out.
welcome back. We have more of that cartoon for you next week. Moving ahead, we have our background report on the pros and cons of the new Naira notes. Don't go away.
Since time immemorial, societies have legal tenders used for transactions ranging from cowries, manilas, beads, bottles, salt, amongst others. This serves as means of transaction. As society grows, these legal tenders will produce to suit the contemporary societies, and Nigeria, just like every other country of the world, has a legal tender accepted for transaction. These legal tenders have undergone series of changes, ranging from the various colonial era currency, such as shillings and pence, and then the pounds. In 1973, Nigeria adopted a truly national currency in decimal form instead of the pounds to replace the imperial system, which we inherited from the British colonial administration. The Naira was introduced in 1973 when the country decimalized its monetary system. This Naira note has undergone series of changes from 1991 when the 50 Naira notes were issued, while 50 kobo and 1 Naira note were replaced by coins. This was followed by the 100 Naira note in 1999, and then the 200 Naira note in 2000, the 500 Naira note in April 2001, and the 1000 Naira note on October 12, 2005. On the 28th of February 2007, the new version of the 5 Naira to 50 Naira banknotes were introduced. And as at today, the CBN has commenced action on redesigning of the Nigeria currency notes with a view to take control over the circulation and integrity of the Naira notes. The new design notes and issues will be effective from mid-December 2002. Is this the right decision at the right time?
As an economist, I believe in it, and because the money supply, there is a trade of money supply and demand that's supposed to be regulated. But as a matter of policy, the new Naira note is, as a matter of policy, supposed to be 5 years. Yeah, supposed to ordinarily, and in the last 20 years, that's not happened.
But those people that are in position of economic activity there, they know more better than us then. That's the reason why they decided to redesign our money right now.
Some kidnapper is collecting money from the citizen of this country. So they want to make sure they don't have opportunity to carry that money to bank. So that's the reason they want to change that money.
If you affect the economy, those are the prices we have to pay for now. If you have to do it, but the worst part is that Nigeria will be producing money, and that's the worst part. When you keep producing, that's what India was doing in is it Rwanda, Uganda. You understand? When you don't have enough money, just print, and you now print money to support the economy. It doesn't make sense because it will be failing the normal economic flow. The flow of suppliers, so the equilibrium is being affected. So the classical economists frown against printing money. Let the activities of the economy determines the equilibrium. There must be deliberate effort on the part of the governors in North Assisi State that there must be one industry at least per local government where they are producing their own thing. Like Kwara, we have Shabata, we have Dadapoti, we have Asofi, we have. So if government look at that direction, and as much as they are putting more money in the hands of people, which is a very good one, they should target it back to buy local things. It will generate more employment. The multiplier effect is also.
According to the CBN governor, the new Naira notes includes 200 Naira notes, 500 Naira notes, and 1,000 Naira notes. And the motive, according to the CBN, is done to curtail the hoarding of banknotes by members of the public. Shortage of clean and fit banknotes in circulation, also in view of the prevailing level of security situation in the country. The CBN is convinced that the incidents of terrorism and kidnapping will minimize as access to the large volume of money outside the banking system used as sources of funds for ransom payments will begin to dry up. We are all anticipating for a positive outcome of this policy.
Alright, you're welcome back to continue with that discussion on Naira notes, the new Naira design. We have with me Olubenga Ajala. He's the VP Kwasima, the National President Association of Licensed Small-Scale Mining Operators of Nigeria. It's good to have you on the program this morning.
Thank you, madam.
Right, the new Naira design, is it a right decision at this time, going by the nature of the nation's economy, the fragile nature?
Thank you very much. Very good topic that you've invited me. And I will personally like to express my view as a financial expert, having worked in the banking industry for 18 years and rose to the topmost peak, and also being a chartered stockbroker, a chartered accountant, a chartered tax practitioner. I would like to respond to your question from those perspectives. So the view I'm expressing will be more of personal views based on personal financial experiences. So I will start by saying that this issue of new currency, we need to address how did we get to this situation. The central bank governor told us in the media that he got approval from the president. He wants to change the note from November 15 to the end of January. But you know, when you are sick and you go to the doctor, you will be exhibiting some symptoms. But something has caused that disease and that symptoms. What led to our economy being in this place? And I would like to explain before going on, because it will let my audience and the populace to understand why are we in this situation. Why is the central bank governor telling us that there are over 2 trillion unmonitored cash outside the banking system? I would say that this situation arose because of wrong policy of the central bank governor. You know, as you lay your bed, so you also lie on it. Now, in the past, the central bank governor have ruled out a lot of policy that is a mimicker to the economy, that is not helping the economy. And I will put it in a simple layman's term. Take for instance now, if I have 20 million naira and I take it to the bank to deposit for safekeeping, because what is banking? In a layman's term, banking is moving surplus. What is the concept of a bank? A bank has surplus center, it has deficit center. Surplus centers are people who have a little extra cash in their hand and they took it to the bank to deposit. The deficit center are the credit creating units. People want to borrow money from the bank. So the banking system is a system whereby it takes part of the surplus and lent to the deficit or the credit creating units so that they can take that money and do business. But now that balance was distorted by central bank policy. That balance, the central bank governor put in a place through their monthly MPC meeting, whereby when you take 50 million, 100 million to the bank, they pay you peanuts, maybe 1% interest. So if you are going to be paid 1% interest on 100 million, 500 million, common sense tells you that you don't need to put your money there. Common sense tells you that you put that money in your house and you trade with it. So now for him to now come back and be telling us that there is so much money outside the banking system, is their policy that created it. During the reign of Soludo, we have interest-paying economy. If you take 20,000 to the bank, they will pay you interest. If you have savings account, they will pay you interest. So if they are not paying interest on 200, 100, 20 million, how will savings account? So now the federal government keep borrowing money that is not there. So if you now understand with that simple environment that their policy of not encouraging people to come and deposit money in the bank has caused why there are so much money outside the system. I cannot give my money to a bank at 0 or 1% interest rate, 500 million. Meanwhile, if I'm going to borrow from that same bank, they'll be charging me 30%. So that is the cause of why there is so much money outside the banking industry than in the, among so many other factors. Now back to your questions. I would say this exercise, it has positive, it has negative.
We're coming to that question.
So
the pros and cons of the proposed new Naira design.
So thank you. So that's an overview of what led to the situation where we met ourselves, where there's so much currency outside the banking system and there are a little in the banking system that the central bank can control. What it means in financial parlance is that our money is not working for us. People are keeping it idle. They are keeping it idle in their own vault. They are keeping it idle in their farms. They are keeping it idle in wherever they are keeping it. This money is supposed to be working. Because if you have a 1 billion that you are rushing to the bank now for change, if the bank have access to that 1 billion, the education sector will be lent to, the agri sector will be lent to, the health sector will be lent to out of that money. And that's what we call multiplier effect. If I borrow you 20 million as a bank, and you too, you spend that 20 million in buying raw materials, the producer of that raw materials also pay labor. So that's what we call the multiplier effect. But the CBN policy over time has killed this. And another major factor that led to so much volume of money outside the banking industry is all these intervention funds. You hear today, so billions and trillions are given in intervention funds. If you trace those people that collected those funds, did they really use the money or they are keeping it somewhere? Are they really the people that really need the intervention fund? That's why they have crisis of paying back. So the central bank itself has pumped money out under various intervention schemes. But those intervention schemes, on my own personal opinion, are not well thought out. Thank you.
All right, this announcement as one of the submissions of the CBN that is going to help curb insecurity. How would that happen in your own personal experience?
You know, as a financial expert, I've seen over time during the period of Soludo, Governor Soludo Central Bank, Governor Sanusi Central Bank, this present CBN governor, they took decisions without looking at other ramification of it. If you tell us it's going to curb insecurity, you need to tell us how.
Okay.
You need to tell us how. Okay, if you are saying you want to mop up the money being controlled by bandits and kidnappers, if you go to most banks in a Ilorin metropolis today, during working hours, you see people coming from the villages with big bags of money. Their strong room is loaded. Counting is even a problem. So if you now say that it will curb insecurity, you have not done the appropriate thing, because you are just issuing. The appropriate thing now is that, one, if you are changing money, there are other agencies that you need to have sat down and plan with. Okay. Take for instance now, if I'm depositing 1 billion naira cash for sale, either as a corporate individual or as an individual, there has to be a mechanism in place that, hi, lodging 100 billion as an individual, how much tax am I paying? We have the BVN system in place. So the person that is lodging 100 billion or a billion naira or a huge amount of money into the banking system, who has inherited, kept that money from working for the whole of us, we need to know how much tax has he paid in the past. So there has to be a tracking of the CBN, and with the FRS, you need to carry the FRS along that we are going to change the currency, you need to be involved. You know, for no other reason than bringing them to the tax net. Thank you.
Is there a policy for the periodic change in the design of Naira notes? How often should that be?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, in all our laws, the Central Bank Act have not come across any such. But in Europe, the Europeans have, especially in UK, they have a system whereby they change their currency every 5-7 years. Okay. You know, but also in those economies, they regularly reprint old notes. They don't allow old notes to circulate. Okay. And in those systems, they have a synchronized way of monitoring the currency in the system. The system whereby if I'm a cattle dealer in the village Yeah? And cattle business is done with cash. They buy, they sell cow, they collect cash, and the cash is kept in their villages for the next market day. You know, so that system automatically implies that they don't need to carry their money into the banks. But for us, we cannot say that we should be printing or minting currency at a particular period, maybe every 10 years, because the financial burden, I read in the media that, I don't know whether it's true, so I have to put that in, that the central bank governor said that is using 57 or 59 billion to print 2 billion. So if there's a differential of 50-something billion to print, you know, and you want to be doing that at every 5 years, it means that we are doing the economy at every 5 years. So our economy cannot afford such. We cannot just copy what they are doing in Britain, because the financial system, the financial circle in Britain is very close. The financial circle, the financial system here is very loose. Look at us in Nigeria. We have almost about 5 exchange rates, and we are all citizens of this country. We have federal government rate, we have CBN official rate, we have so many blackmail, so many rates. And this thing only happened during this particular regime.
All right, thank you very much. The impact of this new Naira note on the nation's economy, let's take the mining industry as a case study.
Thank you. I will start by saying, let us even take the whole commodity industry. Commodity consists of miners and agro-business. Okay. Agro-business, we are talking of cocoa, we are talking of cashew. How does these people trade? They trade, they give people, they give farmer, peasant money in advance. Maybe about 20%, please go and farm. When the harvesting period comes, they buy from those they've sponsored. They also buy from those they have not sponsored in planting. And these are cash-based business. You go to the bank, you go to the farm to buy. So also miners too. Apart from those, in our system now, we have a lot of artisanal miners. We are not well structured even as Ghana when it comes to mining. So the impact now is that if the central bank has announced that from 15th of November to end of January, it means that more or less the commodity market, the cashew, the cocoa, the various mining, buy and selling business will shut down. Okay. Because if you don't have access to the new notes, nobody will want to buy nobody will want to collect the whole notes from you. And for us, most specifically, it is even disturbing. It's disturbing because there are other steps that this government should take, especially in the mining industry, to prevent illegal Chinese from flooding all our mining fields. In Kwara now, all our mining fields are flooded by illegal Chinese. They are creating corruption. They are also illegal miners. You cannot ascertain their status, whether they came in with visiting visa or they came in with a working permit. The Chinese have one ideology here, more especially in Kwara State. They go to the mine fields and tell the local chiefs that they are buying land, forgetting that there is a federal law. Nobody can do mining without complying with the federal law. We've done a lot of educations and we are still doing it, but it is saddening that the illegal Chinese are taking we Nigerians for a ride. If the central bank could sit down with operators in this industry, we could generate so much foreign exchange, and we explain how this thing could be curbed and how these things could be prevented. As a matter of fact, a bill should be proposed to the House preventing illegal Chinese from entering our forests, from entering our fields. If that bill exists, it will also stop banditry. If an illegal Chinese pays a bandit, and the most annoying thing is that these illegal Chinese, they will enter the forest with armed escorts, either mobile police or civil defense. Sometimes, you know. So even to challenge them is a major problem. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So what's your take on the time frame given by CBN for the deposits of the old notes?
Thank you. From experience, look at Britain. Britain is changing currency. They are giving over almost close to 1 year. Now, our people, when we say our people, I'm not talking about the urban dwellers. I'm talking about the rural dwellers. Those who are living about 100 to 200 kilometers from where we are, whose daily occupation is to plant millet, is to plant maize. Who is going to pass the information to them? It's only when they come to town at festival period, during El Malu, during Christmas, that they will know that this currency has been changed. Are you now going to disenfranchise them, the hard work they have done to collect this money? So for me as a financial expert, it never works. If you say you want to catch them, you want to catch those who are acquiring money illegally, we all know. Take for instance the publicized case of the Accountant General of the Federation, who newspaper reported that he alone committed fraud of 90 billion naira. Do you think you will see the 90 billion in his account? It will be hidden somewhere. And those people are well informed. They will bring their currency. But those who are sweating to make this money, those who are farmer, peasants, who only comes to town during festival periods, how will they know if you give them 1.5 months to change this currency? So it's a major defect. And that's why I always feel that when the central bank governor wants to take a decision, please, he should consult. It's so saddening to me as a financial expert to hear the finance minister say it's not consulted. So if the finance minister is not consulted, it means the national executive is not consulted. If the national executive is not consulted, the minister from my state will not know. How will I know? Take for instance to chip this in. The central bank some few months ago put the blame on rising foreign exchange on bureau de change. Dollar was $450 per naira then. Naira was 450 naira per dollar. Today it has crossed over 800. Now we are all paying the penalty for the wrong policy that I said earlier on, that it created a situation where people will not bring their money to the bank because the banks are not paying interest. So you are now changing currency. You are solving a problem that you created for yourself without thinking it through. That other problems will still emanate. So when they ban the bureau de change, we pursuing Aboki FX online into submission. At the end of today now, who is right, who is wrong? We could see that it's a wrong policy. And our fear and prayer is that may this currency not get to 1,000. We are really praying. But the policy they are putting in place are not well thought of. Nobody is a monopoly of knowledge. Please, if you are taking a decision that is going to affect every one of us and our children to come, please call the critical people to hear their own view. Just like when you put the rope on the neck of bureau de change and you said they are the one causing dollar, are they now the one causing the dollar? No. Now look at another effect. All of a sudden, you say you want to change currency. This is simple intelligence. If I am an educated trader and I have 50 million in my I have, let's say, even let me take an outrageous sum. Let's say I have 5 billion in my account. I won't take it to the bank.
Okay, so what will you do?
I will go and be buying dollar at any rate, so that I won't have to go and deposit it in the bank. So there has to be an holistic approach to how do you do things. How do you curb this area? How do you curb this area? Not just one straight jacket to approaches. So now that is the cause of this rising currency. Because why? People are now flogging to buy currency in Abuja, and EFCC is going after the bureau de change operator. You understand? So when they are coming out with this policy, they should have thought out how do we mitigate this set of people. How do we make sure that those who have money and they don't want to lodge it in the bank and they want to pursue dollar, how do we stop them?
All right, at this point, we are going to end the discussion.
Thank you very much.
We hope to have it another time.
Thank you.
Viewers at home, Olubenga Ajala is a financial expert and has been giving us his responses, his views on the new Naira design based on his wealth of experience. I'm sure you learned one or two from that. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you, madam.
Again. Hope
You're
to see you
welcome.
another time. Moving ahead, we have the entertainment segment by Monsurat Abisoyi. Don't go away.
I can't take your pain away, but I can make you feel better. If you stay another day, we can do it together. From sundown to sundown, we go walk the
another beautiful Saturday morning for entertainment segment on Morning Safari, your #1 breakfast show on the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. I'm Monserrat Abisei, and today I'll be giving you updates and happenings from the world of entertainment, as well as sharing lovely styles that you can get from your Ankara and Ashwebi to rock your parties. And this December month, wow, Christmas is coming. I know you're so eager to hear the gist and see the lovely sights, but I need to go on a short break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still entertainment segment on Morning Safari. Today I will be starting with a sad story, but I didn't have a choice. Getting stronger and rising, Davido speaks to Pastor Tobi Adegboyega after son's death. Controversial Pastor Tobi Adegboyega has took to his Instagram page to confirm that singer Davido and his wife Chioma are gradually getting stronger and rising from the grief of their 3-year-old Ifeanyi's death, after speaking with the couple days after the tragic incident. It could be recalled that Ifeanyi Adeleke, who turned 3 on October 20, drowned in the swimming pool in the singer's Banana Island home on Monday, October 31st. The parents were said to have returned from their trip to the devastating news, and the father nearly ran mad. But another story has been making the rounds on some social media platforms, that the little boy is still alive and that oxygen brought him back to life. You see, if a wife loses her husband, she will be called a widow. If a husband loses a wife, it will be called a widower. If a child loses his parents, it will be called an orphan. But there is no word for a parent who loses a child, and that is how awful the loss is. But we don't know how true this news story is. I pray it's true anyways. I pray the boy is still alive. And if not, I pray God give the family the fortitude to bear the loss. Moving on to my next story. Where you must look for a lover within your residential area, dancer Jane Mina advises Nigerian women. Instagram dancer and influencer Jane Mina has taken to her Instagram to tell women why they should date men within their residential areas and stop doing road trips because of men. According to her, the country is too dangerous to be doing road trips for a man that is not yet their husband. Buttressing her point, she told women to look for men within their residential area and stay safe. Okay now, where are the single ladies? Another update don't land though. Come to think of it, this is a good piece of advice. Like seriously, the country is not safe to be traveling miles to meet a lover. But some people no get choice, they just have to. But anyways, one needs to be careful and stay safe, either within residential area or not. And now, I'll be going into the fashion world to show you different fabric styles that you can rock for your parties, events and festivals. Enjoy. And with this fashion trends, I come to the end of entertainment segment for today. I believe the update I shared will be useful to the single ladies, and the Owambe rockers too would have gotten some styles to rock for their parties. I beg, rock your party with well fabric style. Saturdays are for Owambe. And for the sport lovers, the next segment is well packaged for your enjoyment. The next time I come your way, I say bye and have a lovely weekend.
Welcome to your favorite breakfast show, Morning Safari. I am Olabode Samson. On our lineup of stories for today, 4-time Tour de France champion Chris Froome has said his dream of winning his 5th yellows jersey is still alive following his 2019 Oro crash. The dream is always there, the 37-year-old said at Singapore. Before focusing on a goal like riding at the Tour de France, I have to at least chase some smaller goals like the week-long stage race. Barcelona Gerard Piqué announced retirement from football. Barcelona Gerard has announced his retirement on Thursday after his decorated career, saying the moment has come to the end. This is the journey. Saturday's match against Alima will be the last as the champions know. Saturday's match against Alima will be the last at the Camp Nou, the 35-year-old posted on Twitter. Germany striker Timo Werner ruled out of World Cup. Germany striker Timo has been ruled out of the upcoming World Cup in Qatar with an ankle injury. His club RB Leipzig announced. Werner Obud of Early in Leipzig 4-0 champion. Werner Obud of Early in Leipzig 4-0 Championship League win over Shakhtar Donetsk on Wednesday. And that will be all on sport. Morning Safari continues.
Back. I'm sure you got those stars already. For me, I have two. One for Christmas, one for New Year. Trust me. This is how I'll be joining the curtain on the program today. See you another time. I am Olabisi Yusuf. Goodbye.